Battle for the Planet of the Apes is almost the textbook definition of an unnecessary sequel. They really didn't need to make a fifth movie here, but, well, they did. There's also a few different versions, the original theatrical cut and an extended edition. For the sake of clarity, I'm reviewing the extended edition as that was what was available to me when preparing this feature. Battle takes place years after Conquest. The Ape Rebellion escalated into all-out war, which became nuclear. New York City is destroyed and is now known as the Forbidden City, and Caesar created a new society known as Ape City several days' journey away. Apes and humans live in more or less peace in Ape City, though the humans are clearly second-class citizens. They're not slaves, but they're not equals. The biggest law is that no human is allowed to say no to an ape, as this is the word that they were conditioned through pain to fear by the humans. The apes also have already started segregating themselves into groups of chimpanzees, orangutans, and gorillas, each with their own view of how things should work. The head gorilla is Aldo. You may remember the name Aldo was supposed to be the first ape to speak, but, well, that sort of went out the window when Caesar was born. Aldo is a big bully that just wants to conquer everything, but he never really one-upped Caesar because Caesar is much, much smarter than him. Anyway, remember the governor's aide from the last movie? He's still around, though he's played by a different actor. Yeah, they throw out a line saying it's actually his brother, but that's stupid. It's obviously supposed to be the same character. Anyway, he theorizes that if him and Caesar go off into the Forbidden City, they might find audio recordings of Caesar's parents, Zira and Cornelius, who he never met. Caesar loves this idea and sets off to find these tapes, but the city is inhabited by mutated humans who would like nothing more than a bit of revenge. And while Caesar is off on his journey, Aldo pretty much takes over and starts rounding up the humans to put in cages. And when Caesar's young son Cornelius, yeah, it's not too confusing at all, hears him plotting, Aldo severely injures him. Caesar returns after happily listening to the tapes of his parents, but he also had learned about the events of the first two films, and he has a new priority: make sure that that future never happens. Of course, he wouldn't be born then, but, well, like I said, it's best if you don't think about it too much. The humans follow him back, and there's a battle between Aldo's forces and the human forces, which the humans are winning until Caesar becomes involved with his superior tactics. Little Cornelius dies, and when Caesar finds out Aldo was responsible, he chases after Aldo, who climbs up a tree in fear and then falls to his death. Caesar frees the human captives and decides that the only way to prevent the harsh future is to make sure that humans and apes are equals, and the surviving mutants in the city show signs of starting the bomb-worshipping cult from the second movie. This entire story is told by the lawgiver, who is teaching an integrated class of young humans and apes. So did the future change, or is it doomed to repeat the cycle? Well, it's sort of up for interpretation. It could go either way, and there's evidence to support both theories. Clearly, I think the reason for the ambiguity is because they couldn't make up their minds. There were multiple changes to the ending, and the film in general during production, and basically, this one just isn't as good or as smart as the previous four films. It's not a bad movie, but as far as the Ape series is concerned, they didn't really need to make a fifth film. That being said, this was the low point, but it's still an entertaining film, and I like the connections to Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I give this one a 6 out of 10, but it's about to get a whole lot worse, though.